The space around Earth's solar system was quiet and peaceful. Stars twinkled in the darkness like tiny diamonds scattered across black cloth. Then something changed. The empty space began to ripple and bend like water disturbed by a stone. Bright flashes of light appeared one after another, each flash bringing something massive into view. Ships. Huge alien warships materialized from the darkness. Not just one or two, but hundreds, then thousands. Each ship was the size of a small city, covered in strange metal that gleamed under the distant light of the sun. Their hulls were decorated with symbols and markings that no human had ever seen before. These were not friendly visitors coming to say hello. On the largest ship, a creature stood on the command bridge looking out at the small blue planet in the distance. Admiral Kethvar was tall and thin with gray skin that looked like old leather. His eyes were large and black, and when he smiled, rows of sharp teeth showed. He wore a uniform covered in medals and badges that proved his success in conquering other worlds. "Look at this pathetic little planet," Kethvar said to his officers. His voice was cold and mean. "Our intelligence reports say these humans can barely travel between their own planets. They have not even colonized their entire solar system yet. This will be easier than taking candy from a child." The other officers on the bridge laughed. They had heard similar words before when attacking other worlds. The Valthari Empire had conquered 47 different planets, and each victory had been quick and easy. The pattern was always the same: arrive with overwhelming force, demand surrender, destroy a few cities to show power, then accept the submission of the defeated species. "Sir, shall we begin the standard conquest protocol?" asked Commander Zethmol, Kethvar's second in command. "Yes, but take your time," Kethvar replied. "Let them see our ships. Let them count how many we have. Let fear grow in their hearts before we crush their spirit completely." Far below on Earth, in a building in Seoul, South Korea, Dr. Minho Park was working the night shift at his monitoring station. Minho was a quiet man in his 40s who had spent his entire career watching the sky for unusual activity. Most nights were boring, filled with routine checks of satellites and space debris. But tonight was different. His computer screen suddenly lit up with warnings and alerts. Numbers scrolled rapidly across the displays, showing massive energy signatures appearing at the edge of the solar system. Minho's hands moved quickly over his keyboard as he tried to understand what his instruments were telling him. "This cannot be right," he whispered to himself. The readings showed objects that were impossibly large, far bigger than any spacecraft humans had ever built. And there were so many of them. "Yuna," Minho called to his assistant. "Come here quickly." Yuna Kim, a young woman fresh out of university, ran over to Minho's station. She was smart and eager, always ready to help solve difficult problems. When she saw the data on the screens, her face went pale. "Dr. Park, these readings, they show over 2,000 objects," Yuna said, her voice shaking slightly. "Each one is several kilometers long." "That's impossible, right? Our instruments must be broken." Minho ran the diagnostic test 3 times. Each time, the results were the same. Something huge had appeared in their solar system, and it was not human technology. "Call President Choi immediately," Minho ordered. "Tell him we have a code red situation, and contact the Global Defense Initiative. They need to know about this right now." Within minutes, emergency calls were going out across the globe. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials were woken from their sleep and told to report to their stations immediately. The news spread quickly through secure channels. Earth was no longer alone, and their visitors did not seem friendly. In the presidential palace, Taeho Choi was already dressed and waiting when his advisors arrived. Taeho was a strong leader who had guided Earth through many difficult times. He had helped create the Global Defense Initiative 5 years earlier, bringing all of Earth's nations together under one military command. Now it seemed that preparation might be needed. "Show me what we know," Taeho said as his team gathered around a large table covered with screens and displays. Admiral Ji-won Lee, the head of Earth's combined military forces, pointed to the tactical display. Ji-won was known for her calm thinking and careful planning. Even in this crisis, she spoke in a steady voice. "Mr. President, we have confirmed the presence of approximately 2,000 large vessels at the edge of our solar system," Ji-won reported. "Based on their size and formation, these appear to be military ships. They are slowly moving toward Earth." "How long do we have?" Taeho asked. "At their current speed, they will reach Earth in approximately 24 hours, Ji-won replied. A woman sitting quietly in the corner cleared her throat. Dr. Hanul Song was the head of a secret project that very few people knew about. She was small and seemed harmless, but her mind contained knowledge that could change everything. "Mr. President," Hanul said softly, "I think it's time to activate the Prometheus Protocol." The room fell silent. Only a handful of people in the world knew what the Prometheus Protocol was. For 30 years, Earth's best scientists had been working on secret projects, preparing for a day that might never come. Now that day was here, are you certain? Tejo asked. "Once we activate that protocol, there will be no going back. Sir, if these aliens have come to conquer us, our conventional weapons will not be enough," Hanul replied. "We need every advantage we can get." Back in space, the alien fleet continued its slow approach toward Earth. Admiral Kethvar was in no hurry. He enjoyed watching fear grow in his enemies before delivering the final blow. His ships moved in perfect formation, their weapons systems powered down to show they were not yet ready to attack. This was psychological warfare at its finest. "Open a communication channel to the planet," Kethvar ordered. "It is time to deliver our standard message." The transmission reached Earth a few minutes later. The alien admiral appeared on screens around the world, his cruel face and sharp teeth making children cry and adults feel cold fear. "People of Earth," Kethvar began, his words translated by advanced computer systems. "I am Admiral Kethvar of the Valthari Imperial Fleet. Your planet has been selected for incorporation into our glorious empire. You have 24 hours to surrender unconditionally. Lay down your weapons, gather your leaders, and prepare to serve your new masters. If you resist, we will destroy your cities one by one until you beg for mercy. Choose wisely." The transmission ended, leaving Earth's leaders staring at blank screens. Around the world, people watched the news reports in horror. Some ran to stores to buy supplies. Others called their families to say goodbye. But in secret government facilities, scientists and military officers were making very different preparations. "Well," said Tejo quietly, "I guess we have our answer. Dr. Song, you have authorization to begin the activation sequence." Hanul nodded and reached for her secure phone. The call she was about to make would set in motion events that would change the course of history. Earth was about to show the galaxy that humans were far more dangerous than anyone could imagine. The countdown to humanity's response had begun. The next morning brought chaos to Earth, or at least it looked that way to anyone watching from space. Ships launched from spaceports around the planet in what appeared to be panic. Families fled from major cities. Military vessels moved in seemingly random directions. To the alien observers, it looked exactly like the desperate scrambling of a primitive species facing certain doom. Admiral Kethvar watched the activity from his command ship with great satisfaction. He had seen this pattern many times before on other worlds. First came denial, then fear, then desperate attempts to escape. Finally would come surrender and submission. "Look how they run like frightened animals," Kethvar said to his officers. "Their ships are so small and slow. Some of them appear to be nothing more than cargo vessels pressed into service. This species has no real military capability." What the alien admiral did not know was that every movement he was seeing had been carefully planned. Dr. Sunwoo Kang, director of the Mars Research Facility, stood in his control room watching displays that showed the real situation. Ships were not fleeing in panic. They were moving to precise positions that had been calculated months in advance. "Transport 7. Adjust your course by 2 degrees. Sunwoo spoke into his headset. "You need to be exactly at grid reference Delta 7 by 1400 hours. "Understood, Control," came the reply. "Moving to Delta 7 now." Sunwoo had been preparing for this day for 5 years. The Mars facility was officially a research station studying the planet's geology and atmosphere. In reality, it was one of several hidden military installations that formed the backbone of Earth's secret defense network. The aliens thought they were watching civilians run for safety. Actually, they were watching the largest military exercise in human history. On Luna Base, hidden on the far side of Earth's moon, Commander Hyejin Nam coordinated the complex dance of ships and personnel. Hyejin was a small woman with sharp eyes and a mind that could track dozens of moving pieces at once. Her facility was completely invisible from Earth, built into the lunar rock with no external signatures that alien scanners could detect. "All units, maintain radio silence," Hyejin announced. "Switch to quantum burst communications only. We cannot let them detect our real communication network." The quantum communication system was another secret that humanity had developed over the past decades. Unlike radio waves that could be intercepted, quantum signals existed in a state that made them impossible to detect or decode without destroying the information they carried. The aliens had no idea that every human ship was in constant contact with command centers. Captain Junho Lim commanded one of the ships that looked most helpless to alien observers. The Earth defense ship Resilience appeared to be nothing more than a patrol vessel, barely armed and certainly no match for the massive alien warships. Junho's crew of 12 seemed impossibly small compared to the thousands of warriors on each enemy ship, but appearances were deceiving. Junho stood on his bridge watching his tactical officer Seo Young-an make final preparations to systems that did not appear on any official records. Status report. Seo Young, Junho said quietly. All stealth systems are online and functioning perfectly, Seo Young replied. Dimensional full generators are charged and ready. The aliens have no idea we're here. The Resilience was actually one of the most advanced warships ever built by humans. Its hull contained technology that could bend light and energy around it, making it nearly invisible to enemy sensors. More importantly, it carried weapons that could strike targets across vast distances by folding space itself. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, in facilities that officially did not exist, Dr. Min Jae-won made final adjustments to humanity's greatest secret. The underground complex stretched for kilometers in all directions, filled with machines that seemed to belong more in science fiction than reality. Dimensional field stability is holding at 99.7%, Min Jae announced to his team. Fold generators across the network are synchronizing perfectly. The technology that Min Jae and his team had developed would have seemed impossible to most scientists. They had learned to create tiny tears in the fabric of spacetime itself, allowing matter and energy to be moved instantly across any distance. The applications were beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Sir, we're receiving final authorization codes from President Choi, said his assistant, Borim Yang, who was monitoring from the International Space Station. All systems are green for Operation Prometheus, Min Jae nodded. Operation Prometheus was the name given to humanity's ultimate weapon system. For 30 years, Earth's best minds had worked in absolute secrecy to develop technology that could protect their world from any threat. Now they would learn if their theories actually worked in practice. Above them, the alien fleet continued its slow advance toward Earth. Admiral Kethavar was savoring every moment of what he believed would be an easy victory. His ships were now close enough to begin detailed scans of Earth's defenses, and what they found only confirmed his belief in human weakness. Sir, our scans show primitive nuclear weapons, chemical explosives, and kinetic projectiles, reported his science officer. Their most advanced ships appear to be fusion-powered with basic energy weapons. We estimate our shields could withstand their entire arsenal for several hours before taking any meaningful damage. Kethavar smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Excellent. How many population centers shall we destroy to demonstrate our power? I'm thinking we should start with their largest cities. Perhaps 3 or 4 cities, sir, suggested Commander Zethmal. That should be enough to break their spirit without reducing the slave population too much. Yes, perfect. Target their capitals and major industrial centers. We'll give them a demonstration of Valthari power they will never forget. What the aliens did not detect in their scans were the thousands of hidden installations scattered across Earth, Luna, and Mars. Each facility was carefully shielded and designed to look like ordinary buildings or natural formations. Power plants that were actually dimensional generators, communication towers that could fold spacetime, research stations that housed weapons beyond imagination. In Seoul, Dr. Hanil Song stood in a command center that looked like mission control for a space launch. Hundreds of technicians monitored displays showing the status of the global defense network. Every system was ready and waiting for the final command network. Synchronization is complete, reported engineer Donghyun Park. All 2847 dimensional. Fold points are locked onto their targets. We can initiate the response at any time, Hanil nodded. The network represented the greatest achievement in human science and engineering. Dimensional fold points hidden around the solar system could create microscopic tears in spacetime with surgical precision. Each tear would last less than 1 second, but that would be more than enough time to accomplish their purpose. Maintain ready status, Hanil ordered. We wait for the President's final authorization. The alien fleet was now only 6 hours away from Earth. Their massive ships blotted out stars as they moved in perfect formation toward their target. Weapons that could destroy continents were powering up. Troop transports prepared to deploy occupation forces. Admiral Kethvar began composing the victory message he would send back to the Valthari homeworld. But on Earth, humanity was ready to show the galaxy something that would change everything. The species that appeared weakest was about to prove that intelligence, preparation, and scientific achievement could overcome any amount of brute force. In the final phase of Earth's secret preparations began as President Taiho Choi walked toward the secure communication terminal that would give the order heard around the galaxy. The countdown to humanity's response was entering its final hours, and the universe was about to learn that humans were far more dangerous than anyone had ever imagined. 6 hours remained until Admiral Kethvar's deadline. The Valthari fleet had moved into attack position around Earth, their massive ships forming a sphere of death that surrounded the small blue planet. From space, the scene looked hopeless for humanity. 2,000 alien warships, each one capable of destroying entire cities, faced a world that seemed to have no real defenses. Admiral Kethvar stood on his command bridge, feeling the familiar excitement that came before victory. He had done this 47 times before, and each conquest had followed the same pattern. The aliens would demonstrate their power. The native species would realize resistance was hopeless, and surrender would follow quickly. "Begin charging the planetary bombardment systems," Kethvar ordered his weapons officer. "Target their major population centers. We'll start with 3 cities to show them what Valthari power looks like." "Yes, Admiral," the weapons officer replied. "Targeting New York, London, and Tokyo. Planet killer beams will be ready to fire in 30 minutes. The weapons that charged across the alien fleet were beyond anything humans had publicly demonstrated. Each beam could vaporize mountains and boil oceans. The aliens had used them to break the spirit of dozens of other worlds. They expected Earth to surrender the moment the first city disappeared in nuclear fire. But in the presidential palace on Earth, a very different kind of preparation was taking place. President Taiho Choi stood before cameras that would broadcast his words to every corner of the planet. To anyone watching, he looked like a leader preparing to surrender his world to save his people. His words seemed desperate and hopeless. "People of Earth," Taiho began, his voice heavy with apparent despair, "we face an enemy beyond our ability to fight. Their ships outnumber ours by thousands to 1. Their weapons can destroy our cities in moments. We must consider what is best for humanity's survival." Around the world, people gathered around television screens and computer monitors to hear their leader's words. Many wept, thinking they were about to witness the surrender of their planet. Children clung to their parents. Adults made final phone calls to distant family members. The scene was exactly what the aliens expected to see. But Taiho's speech contained hidden meanings that only a few dozen people on Earth understood. Certain phrases and words were actually code sequences that activated systems across the globe. When he said humanity's survival, Dr. Hanel Song pressed a button that brought the dimensional fold network to full power. When he mentioned what is best, Captain Junho Lim received authorization to begin target acquisition. Dr. Boram Yang, monitoring from the International Space Station, watched as every hidden facility on Earth, Luna, and Mars reported ready status. The network that humanity had built in secret over 3 decades was finally prepared for its first, and hopefully only, use. All dimensional fold generators are synchronized and locked onto their targets. Boram reported through the quantum communication system. Network stability is holding at 99.9%. We're ready for Operation Prometheus. In the underground command center beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Min-jae Wan made his final preparations. The technology his team had developed was about to be tested under the most extreme conditions imaginable. One mistake, one calculation error, and Earth would face destruction without any hope of defense. "Exotic matter reserves are at full capacity," Min-jae announced to his team. "Dimensional field generators are operating within optimal parameters. The fold network is ready to execute." The science behind what they were about to attempt was so advanced that most humans could not understand it. By creating microscopic tears in spacetime, they could move matter instantly across any distance. More importantly, they could create these tears inside solid objects, bypassing all known forms of defense. Above Earth, the alien fleet continued its preparations for bombardment. Admiral Kethavar had decided to destroy New York first, as a demonstration of what would happen to any city that resisted Valthari rule. The planet killer beam was almost ready to fire. "Sir, we're detecting some unusual energy readings from the planet's surface," reported the science officer. "There appear to be power sources we didn't notice in our initial scans." Kethavar waved dismissively. "Probably emergency generators or backup power systems. These primitives are probably trying to keep their communication networks running so they can coordinate their surrender." If the alien admiral had understood what those energy readings really represented, he might have ordered his fleet to retreat immediately. Instead, he focused on the tactical displays that showed his ships in perfect attack formation. "All ships, prepare to demonstrate Valthari power," Kethavar announced across the fleet communication system. "Today we add another world to our glorious empire. Today we show the galaxy that resistance to our rule is futile." 40,000 alien warriors across 2,000 ships prepared for what they expected to be an easy victory. Weapons systems that could crack planets came online. Troop transports readied boarding parties to take control of Earth's government facilities. The aliens were confident that within hours they would be accepting humanity's surrender. On Earth, President Taiho concluded his speech with the final authorization code. To most listeners, his last words sounded like a prayer for mercy. In reality, they were the command that would change the course of galactic history. "May we find the strength to do what must be done for our world," Taiho said, looking directly into the camera. "May we remember that sometimes the greatest victories come from the most unexpected places." Dr. Hanul Song heard those words and knew the time had come. Her finger moved toward the activation switch that would trigger Operation Prometheus. Around her, hundreds of technicians held their breath as 30 years of secret preparation came down to a single moment. "Network activation in 10 seconds, Hanul announced. "All stations confirm ready status. Sol Command ready," came the first response, Luna. "Base ready," followed immediately. "Mars facility, ready." "International Space Station ready." One by one, every installation in the network confirmed their readiness. The countdown began as humanity prepared to reveal that they were far more dangerous than any alien species had ever imagined. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, execute Operation Prometheus. Dr. Hanul Song pressed the activation switch, and in that instant, the fate of the Valthari Imperial fleet was sealed. Across the solar system, dimensional fold generators created microscopic tears in space-time with surgical precision. Each tear lasted less than 1 second, but they appeared in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. Inside every alien ship, at the exact center of their reactor cores, tiny amounts of exotic matter suddenly materialized. The alien shields and armor that could withstand planet-killing weapons were completely useless against an attack that bypassed three-dimensional space entirely, Admiral. Kethavar had just enough time to see warning lights flash across his control panels before everything went white. The last thought that passed through his mind was confusion about how a primitive species could possibly have such advanced technology. Then the Valthari Imperial fleet, terror of the galaxy and conqueror of 47 worlds, simply ceased to exist. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Within hours of the Valthari fleet's complete annihilation, monitoring stations on hundreds of worlds detected the impossible event. The mighty Imperial fleet, conqueror of 47 civilizations, had vanished without a trace while attempting to subdue what everyone believed was a primitive backwater planet called Earth. Jaehyun Seo, Earth's newly appointed Secretary of Interstellar Affairs, found himself the busiest man in the solar system. His communication systems, designed to handle routine diplomatic contact with a few nearby systems, were overwhelmed with incoming messages from across the galaxy. "Sir, we have 17 different species requesting immediate diplomatic contact," reported his assistant, Sun Hee Cho. 3 former Valthari colony worlds are offering tribute. The Zentorian Collective wants to establish trade agreements, and something called the Galactic Council is demanding an immediate explanation of what happened here. Jaehyun had been a quiet diplomat just yesterday, focused on humanity's first tentative contacts with alien civilizations. Now he was responsible for managing Earth's relationship with a galaxy that suddenly viewed humans as the most dangerous species in known space. Set up secure channels with the former colony worlds first, Jaehyun decided. They've suffered under Valthari rule. We should help them understand that Earth has no intention of becoming the new galactic empire. The first alien species to make contact was the Kepler Coalition, a group of peaceful trading worlds that had paid tribute to the Valthari Empire for over 2 centuries. Their representative appeared on Earth's communication screens as a tall, blue-skinned humanoid with large, frightened eyes. "Honored humans of Earth," the alien diplomat said, his voice shaking with fear. "We congratulate you on your magnificent victory over the Valthari oppressors. The Kepler Coalition wishes to offer tribute and service to your glorious empire. Please tell us how we may serve your needs." Jaehyun realized immediately that the galaxy had completely misunderstood Earth's intentions. They assumed that because humans had easily destroyed the Valthari fleet, humanity must be planning to take over the Empire's former territory. The idea that Earth might want nothing more than to be left alone seemed impossible to them. "Thank you for your message," Jaehyun replied carefully. "But Earth has no desire to rule other worlds. We acted only in self-defense when the Valthari threatened our planet. We wish to be friends with peaceful species, not masters." The alien diplomat looked confused, as if Jaehyun's words made no sense. In a galaxy where military power meant political control, the concept of a strong species that didn't want to conquer others was almost impossible to understand. Dr. Yoonjung Choi led the team of scientists studying the aftermath of humanity's devastating victory. Her job was to analyze what remained of the Valthari fleet and assess the effectiveness of the dimensional fold technology. What she found confirmed that Earth had achieved something that would revolutionize galactic warfare. The exotic matter insertion was 100% effective across all 2,000 targets, Yoonjung reported to the Global Defense Council. Complete matter dissolution occurred in every alien vessel simultaneously. Our dimensional fold technology represents a paradigm shift that makes all current galactic weapons obsolete. The implications were staggering. If Earth could eliminate any enemy fleet in seconds, traditional concepts of military balance no longer applied. Nations and empires that had spent centuries building massive armies and powerful warships suddenly found themselves helpless against a species that could strike anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Ambassador Kyung Minho, recently appointed as Earth's first representative to deal with galactic affairs, received visitors from across the known universe. His office, hastily established in Geneva, welcomed delegations from species that had never before acknowledged humanity's existence. "The Andromedan Republic wishes to establish a formal alliance with Earth," announced one delegation leader, a creature that looked like a walking tree with glowing fruits for eyes. "We offer our most advanced technologies in exchange for your protection against aggressive neighbors. The Spiral Arm Federation requests permission to establish an embassy on your moon," said another alien representative, this one resembling a large butterfly with crystalline wings. "We believe our species could benefit greatly from cultural exchange with such a powerful civilization." Each delegation brought similar offers: technology, resources, trade agreements, military alliances. All of them wanted something from Earth, and all of them were terrified of what humans might do if their requests were denied. President Taiho Choi faced the most difficult decision of his career. Earth possessed technology that made them the most powerful military force in the galaxy. But with that power came responsibilities that humanity had never asked for. How should Earth use its advantage? Should they share their technology with peaceful species? Should they help liberate worlds still under alien oppression? Or should they simply retreat into isolation and hope the rest of the galaxy would leave them alone? "The former Valthari subjects are begging for our protection," reported Defense Minister Seung-ho Yoon during an emergency cabinet meeting. 17 different worlds have requested that Earth establish military bases to prevent other empires from conquering them, and 3 major galactic powers have sent warships toward our solar system, added Intelligence Director Mira Song. "They claim to be diplomatic escorts, but our long-range sensors suggest they're actually scouting missions to assess our defenses." Taiho knew that isolation was no longer possible. Earth's demonstration of power had made them a major player in galactic politics, whether they wanted that role or not. Every species in the galaxy would now judge humanity's intentions based on their next actions. After days of debate and consultation with Earth's brightest minds, Taiho made his decision. Earth would not become conquerors, but neither would they hide from their new responsibilities. Humanity would step carefully into the galaxy as protectors of peace and defenders of freedom. We will establish the Terran Defensive Alliance, Taiho announced in a speech broadcast to both Earth and the wider galaxy. Any peaceful species that wishes protection from aggressive neighbors may request our assistance. We will share selected technologies with civilizations that prove their commitment to nonviolence. But we will not rule other worlds, and we will not tolerate anyone who tries to rule us. Daeho Kim, appointed as the first director of galactic relations, established Earth's interstellar embassy on Luna Base, where it could be easily reached by alien visitors but remained under human control. His first task was to create a new kind of diplomatic protocol for a species that had accidentally become the galaxy's dominant military power. We need to be strong enough that no one dares attack us, but peaceful enough that other species don't unite against us, Daeho explained to his staff. It's the most delicate balance in galactic history. The universe watched and waited to see what humanity would do with its incredible power. Some species hoped Earth would free them from oppression. Others feared that humans would become worse tyrants than the Valthari had ever been. A few wondered if this strange species might actually keep their promise to use their strength only for defense. As Earth's first interstellar diplomatic mission prepared to launch, humanity faced a future they had never imagined. They had revealed themselves to be the most technologically advanced species in the galaxy, capable of destroying entire fleets in seconds. Now they had to prove they were wise enough to use that power responsibly. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity. As they stepped forward to take their place among the stars as reluctant guardians of a new age of peace, the species that had seemed weakest had become the strongest, and the universe was about to learn what humans truly meant when they spoke of justice, freedom, and the protection of the innocent. The silence was complete and absolute. One moment, the space around Earth was filled with 2,000 massive alien warships, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight as they prepared to rain destruction upon humanity. The next moment, there was nothing. Not wreckage floating in space, not explosions or debris fields, not even the faintest trace of energy signatures. The entire Valthari Imperial fleet had simply vanished as if it had never existed at all. Captain Suyonbei commanded the observation ship Vigilant, positioned at a safe distance to record whatever happened when the aliens attacked Earth. Her ship was equipped with the most advanced sensors humans had ever built, designed to capture every detail of what everyone expected to be humanity's final battle. Instead, her instruments recorded the impossible. "Captain," said Lieutenant Chanwoo Park, the ship's sensor operator, his voice filled with confusion. "I'm not detecting any ships. None at all. The entire alien fleet has disappeared from our sensors." Suyon stared at her displays in shock. The tactical screen that had shown 2,000 enemy contacts just seconds earlier was now completely empty. Only Earth, Luna, and Mars appeared on the scanner, along with a few human ships and space stations. "Run a complete diagnostic of all sensor systems," Suyon ordered. "Check everything twice. This cannot be correct." Her crew worked frantically to verify their readings, but the results remained the same. The alien fleet that had threatened to destroy their world was gone without a trace. Not destroyed, not retreating, but simply absent, as if it had been erased from existence itself. "Captain, all sensors are functioning normally," reported Chief Engineer Hyunwoo Kim. "Whatever happened to those ships? It wasn't an equipment failure on our part. They're really gone." On Luna Base, Commander Heejin Nam stood in her command center watching displays that confirmed the same impossible result. Her hidden facility had been monitoring the alien fleet since its arrival, tracking every ship and weapon system. Now her screens showed empty space where an armada had existed moments before. "Quantum sensors confirm complete absence of alien signatures," reported her tactical officer. "No ships, no energy readings, no debris. It's as if they never existed." Heejin activated her secure communication link to Earth Command. "Control, this is Luna Base. Can you confirm the status of the alien fleet? Our sensors show complete disappearance of all enemy contacts." The response came from Dr. Hanul Song herself, speaking from the underground command center where Operation Prometheus had been executed. Her voice was calm but filled with amazement at what her technology had accomplished. "Luna Base, this is Dr. Song. The dimensional fold network performed beyond our theoretical predictions. The exotic matter insertion caused complete reactor cascade failures in all target vessels simultaneously. The alien fleet has been neutralized. Dr. Gyung-ho Shin, working at the Luna Observatory, focused his instruments on the space where the alien fleet had been positioned. As one of Earth's leading experts in space-time physics, he understood better than most what had actually occurred. The dimensional fold technology created microscopic rifts directly inside each ship's reactor core, Gyung-ho explained to his colleagues. When exotic matter from folded spacetime came into contact with their antimatter reactors, it caused instantaneous matter dissolution. The ships didn't explode, they simply stopped existing as organized matter. The process had been faster than light itself. In exactly 1.7 seconds, 50 million alien warriors and their mighty warships had been reduced to scattered particles floating in space. The technology that humanity had developed in secret had proven more devastating than any weapon ever conceived. On Earth, crowds that had gathered in terror to watch the alien attack now stood in stunned confusion. The massive ships that had filled the sky were gone. Parents who had been preparing to say goodbye to their children instead found themselves staring at empty blue skies. The war that was supposed to end human civilization had lasted less than 2 seconds. News anchor Minji Chae struggled to find words as she reported the unbelievable events to a global audience. Ladies and gentlemen, we are receiving confirmed reports from multiple space agencies around the world. The alien fleet that threatened our planet appears to have been completely destroyed. I repeat, the entire alien invasion force has been eliminated. Television screens around the world showed the same impossible scene. Empty space where moments before a vast armada of death had been preparing to attack. Military analysts tried to explain what could have caused such total annihilation, but none of their theories came close to the truth. In the presidential palace, Taiho Choi received confirmation from every monitoring station on Earth, and throughout the solar system. The threat was over. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious in the most one-sided battle in galactic history. Mr. President, this is Admiral Lee, came the voice of the military commander over the secure communication system. All Earth Defense Forces report mission success. The alien fleet has been completely neutralized. We have achieved total victory without firing a single conventional weapon. Admiral Woo Sung-go, commanding Earth's conventional military fleet, issued stand-down orders to forces that had been prepared to make a heroic but hopeless final stand. His ships, armed with fusion weapons and kinetic missiles, had been ready to die fighting against impossible odds. Instead, they found themselves victorious without ever entering combat. All units returned to normal patrol status, Woo-sung announced to his fleet. The threat has been eliminated. Earth is secure. Dr. Min Jae-won emerged from his underground facility for the first time in months, stepping into sunlight that still shone on a free Earth. The dimensional fold technology he had spent his life developing had worked perfectly, saving humanity from extinction and proving that scientific advancement could overcome any military force. Network shutdown is complete, Min Jae reported to President Choi. All dimensional fold generators are offline and secured. The exotic matter reserves have been safely contained. We're back to normal operations, but Earth would never return to normal. In less than 2 seconds, humanity had demonstrated technological capabilities that placed them centuries ahead of the known galactic powers. They had destroyed a military force that had conquered dozens of worlds, doing so with such ease that the enemy had no time to react or even understand what was happening. The implications were staggering. If humans could eliminate an entire invasion fleet in under 2 seconds, what else might they be capable of? How many other secret technologies did Earth possess? What would happen if humanity decided to become conquerors instead of defenders? As the reality of their victory sank in, people around the world began to celebrate. Cities that had expected destruction instead declared holidays. Children who had feared for their lives played in streets that remained safe and free. Families that had prepared for enslavement instead planned for a future that suddenly seemed bright with possibility. But in government facilities and military command centers, a different conversation was beginning. Earth had revealed its hand, showing the galaxy that humans possessed weapons beyond imagination. There would be consequences to such a demonstration of power, and humanity needed to be ready for whatever came next. The age of human isolation was over. The galaxy now knew that Earth was not a helpless backwater planet, but a technological powerhouse capable of destroying any enemy in moments. The universe would never underestimate humanity again, and that knowledge would change everything.